Hello, students. I welcome you all on the online study platform of Sri Academy. Today, I'll start the series with English literature. Students, in this video lecture, we all study about some basic concepts of literature. Let's start the class. The word literature derives from the Latin word lautera, means learning or writing grammar. What you call literature in Hindi? Sahitya. Okay, so now we move towards the definition, and I define it in two ways. First is broader way, and second shorter or subject centric way. So in the broader way, what's the definition? So printed material about a particular subject that is called literature. Okay, it can be the literature of science, it can be the literature of mathematics or any other subject. The textbook of your science textbook is also written in Hindi or English language, so it is called the literature of science, the literature of mathematics, the literature of history, the literature of any other subject. Okay, so any kind of writing is in literature in broader way, but in shorter way or a subject centric, what you define literature. So a writing that is considered to be a work of art, example poetry, plays, novels, etc. Okay, what you call it in Hindi? कलात्मक रूप से किया गया लेखन कार्य, जैसे कविता, नाटक, उपन्यास इत्यादि, इन्हें क्या कहते हैं? इन्हें साहित्य कहते हैं, जो हम अपनी इंग्लिश, हिंदी, स्पेनिश, फ्रेंच और एनी अदर काइंड ऑफ लिटरेचर में पढ़ते हैं. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, नाउ we move towards the classification of literature. Okay, broadly we divide it into two. The first is prose and second is poetry, and the word prose is derived from the Latin word prosa. What's the meaning of this word prosa? Straightforward. Okay, and what you call prose in Hindi? Gadya. What's the general definition of prose? Prose writing is usually adopted for the description of facts or the discussion of whatever one's thoughts are, incorporated in free play. Means किसी तथ्य या वार्तालाप को ज्यों का त्यों सरल भाषा में लिपिबद्ध करना या बोलना, वही गद्य कहलाता है. Means that is called prose. So here this word straightforward is very important. Okay, and now we move towards the poetry. And what do you call in poetry in Hindi? Padya. Okay, and this word poetry is derived from the Greek word poin. What's the means of this word? To make or crafted. Generally we call it in English crafted. What's the meaning of crafted? Means किसी चीज को, किसी कविता को, किसी साहित्य को बनाया गया या अलंकृत किया गया. मीन्स अलंकृत किया हुआ साहित्य ही काव्य है. इसमें क्राफ्टिंग मीन्स अलंकरण is very important in poetry. So now we move towards the definition of these two. What's the definition of prose? So the definition of prose is writing is usually adopted for description of facts or the discussion of whatever one's thought are, incorporated in free flow speech. Okay, means किसी तथ्य या वार्तालाप को ज्यों का त्यों सरल भाषा में लिपिबद्ध करना या बोलना। मीन्स प्रोज इज द ऑर्डिनरी फॉर्म ऑफ राइटिंग और स्पोकन लैंग्वेज. Okay, so prose is also divided into many genres. Genres means many forms. Okay, like we can divide prose in novels, dramas. While drama has both kind of language, prosaic language and poetic language also. If you read Shakespeare in drama, you find prosaic language as well as poetic language also. If you read the famous comedy by Shakespeare, Merchant of Venice, and this play have a very renowned poetry, which maybe you have read, that is called the poem Mercy. Means the poem Mercy is in the play Merchant of Venice. So play has prosaic language as well as poetic language. Okay, and other forms are essay, novel, etc. Okay, students, I hope you are understanding it. And now I move towards the second, and second is poetry. I define poetry first in general form. And what's the general definition of poetry? Poetry is a type of literature based on the interplay of words and rhymes. It often employs rhyme and meter. In poetry, words are strung together to form sound, image, ideas that might be too complex or abstract to describe directly. Okay, means in poetry, in the writer or the poet describes his thought, his or her thought or idea through a set of rules and regulation, and through these, and what's are the rules and regulation? With the kind of some selected sounds, images, ideas, etc. Okay, so I'm making you more easier. I'm telling you the definition in Hindi also. So what's the definition? What's you call poetry in Hindi? Padya. So पद्य में अलंकृत शब्दों को तुकबंदी व अन्य नियमों के माध्यम से व्यवस्थित करना, जिससे लेखक या कविताकार अपने भाव को सहज ढंग से प्रस्तुत करता है. इस हेतु कवि कई दृश्यों, चिन्हों इत्यादि का प्रयोग करता है. एंड फर्दर वी लर्न one most celebrated definition of poetry by William Wordsworth in his book Experimental. Students, carefully listen about it. William Wordsworth has wrote this definition in his famous book The Experimental. Okay, so you note it down, this point. This is very important. So what's the definition of poetry by William Wordsworth? Poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotions recollected in tranquility. Do you understand these words? Spontaneous overflow means, what do you understand by this word spontaneous overflow? Means एकाएक व्यक्ति के हृदय से काव्यात्मक भाव का प्रस्फुटन होना, अपनी भावनाओं, विचारों का प्रस्फुटन होकर होना, जो कि लेखन के माध्यम से एक पोएट्री के फॉर्म में उसको अरेंज किया जाए. ओके, and what do you understand by this word tranquility? Means शांति. Tranquility means शांति. So I'm making you more easier in Hindi also. I'm giving the definition I'm translating the definition in Hindi also. So what's the translation? काव्य व्यक्ति के अंदर उत्पन्न अत्यंत प्रबल भावनाओं का आकस्मिक प्रस्फुटन है, जो भावनाओं के असीम शांति में जन्म लेता है. जैसे अत्यंत मनोरम दृश्य को देखने के बाद काव्य सर्जना का भाव उत्पन्न होना. अब ये मनोरम दृश्य क्या हो सकते हैं? ये कोई पर्वत हो सकता है, कोई नदी हो सकती है, कोई प्राकृतिक दृश्य हो सकता है, कोई चाइल्डिश एक्ट हो सकती है, और any other kind of image. Okay, so this is the definition of poetry. I hope you will understand. Now I am making it more clear, more easy with the analysis of a famous, renowned, famous or renowned poem. I hope you all aware of this poem, and any sort of time you have read this poem, irrespective of class. And now this time also you may have the record. You may learn this poem. You may memorize this poem. If you not, do learn this poem. Okay. So this is a poem by Jen Taylor. What's the poem? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Here, students, the poetess has used the meter of poetry, rhyme. So, in the word, in the first in the end of first sentence, poetess has used the word star, which is rhyming with r. Okay, and in the second set of sentences, poetess has used high and sky, which are rhyming with each others. Okay, so here it is a set, and here b set, means this is the rhyming scheme of this poem. A B B means star is rhymed with r, high is rhymed with sky. Star has the same, when you produce the word star and r, they have the same kind of sound generating from your throat. Okay, try producing these words: star, repeat star, r, high, sky. You may feel some sort of same kind of sound. Okay, so try practicing it. And this is the rhyme. Okay, and what's the imagery? Imagery is also a poetic meter, and here the poetess has used image of dark and lighting sky. Whenever you imagine about the twinkling stars, you may imagine about the dark side of sky also, and the dark sky is lighting with these twinkling stars. Okay, I hope you understand the poetry in a better way. So children's, in the next slide, I make it clear. I make clear the technical words I have used in this discussion. So what the technical word I have used? Meter. You think what is the definition of meter? So here I give the definition of meter also. Meter is a set of rules governing the number and arrangement of syllables in each lines. Okay, and what's the definition of rhyme? A word that has that has same sound as another, that is sky, high, r, star. These are the rhyme, means same kind of sound. What you call in Hindi it rhyme means tukbandi, means same kind of sounds. Okay, I hope now you all have a clear idea about the previous discussion. Okay, students, I am telling you some important facts also. Who is the father of English prose? William Tyndall. Learn it and memorize it time and again. Who is the father of English prose? William Tyndall. Who is the father of English poetry? Geoffrey Chaucer. Okay, learn it. All of you learn it. It is your task to learn these facts. Okay, so learn the father of prose and father of poetry. Okay, students. I hope now you all have the clear idea about the previous discussion. Now, students, what we learn in lecture first, I'm overviewing the lecture, means briefing the lecture in short. First, we have learned learn the meaning and definition of literature, then the classification of it, then the meaning and definition of prose and poetry, and we understand it with analysis of examples. Students, I think here you will be able to point out the differences between prose and poetry. Tell two differences of your own. Tell two differences in prose and poetry to your own. Okay. Now I am pointing out the differences. So what's the difference in prose and poetry? First, prose is easier and straightforward, while poetry is complex. Okay. And second is prose has long sentences and less rules and regulation, while poetry has short sentences and more rules and regulations. Third, poetry is much appealing and easy to convey the thought or idea. Prose is not so. Means if you are reading a poetry, you may understand more about the thought, the idea of the writer. Means you connected much about the ideas of writer, about the thought of writer. Okay, it is, and this doesn't happen with prose. Prose is also interesting, but poetry is more. Okay, students, now we move towards the next slide, and this is the task for today. Means it is a task to you for today, and you will do these tasks at your home. And what's the first task? Read the first chapter of your English book, that is in prose. Means read a prose chapter of your English book. Second, read the first poem of your English book. Third, learn the definitions discussed in the lecture. And fourth, write a page in prose and a page in poetry also. Okay. Thank you, students. I wish you a very happy day ahead, and stay home, stay safe. Thank you again.